Well, good evening, good people. Mark Holmes here. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great day. We've got pretty much the Cowboys rookie mini camp in the books. We got a chance to see a few flashes of them out on the field. There's no pads. There's no hitting or anything like that, or at least not intentional. Shh. There was actually, the linebacker did knock down one of the coaches. Don't tell Roger Goodell because we might get fined, okay, for being too physical in practice. What's really cool about this is it's Brian Schottenheimer's team. If you didn't know, this is Brian Schottenheimer's team, and he is looking for the right kind of players for what he's trying to do. He's looking for motivated guys. He's looking to take good players and make them great players, which means you need to be motivated. And see, this is one of those things that not everybody is in love with being a football player. Some people are just really good with it and say, I don't know what else I'm going to do with my life, and I'm going to make a whole bunch of money and so on, and do only what's necessary. And we've had some of those guys on our roster before, guys that, they're not gym rats. They don't want to practice and stuff. I'm trying to think of the linebacker we got from the Raiders. My memory has just been shot lately. But incredible player, and just didn't have the mentality of saying I wanted to practice and be better or be great. David, also too, we had God, my mind is gone crazy. You know what I'm saying. Those kinds of players, they don't want on the Cowboys. And I dare say with what we've done in this draft, that there's some veterans out here that have been put on notice that they've got to perform in a numbers game where they may not have a spot, regardless of where they were drafted. 105.3 The Fan was having a discussion on some of these players and stuff. Some of them I kind of say, okay, because they put like Schoonmaker on there. At the moment, there's no way in the world I see Schoonmaker being on that list of somebody that they would get rid of. Being a second-round pick and seeing him actually coming on and beginning to play at the end of last year, I think that's one of those ones that you have to continue to go. But when you start thinking about somebody like Sam Williams, I thought for sure Sam Williams was going to be great. Sam Williams, who was fast, I think he ran a 4.5 40, had the size that you like. He was like 262, and he was tall too, and had the strength and everything. I just don't know what happened with him. And now that he's coming back from an injury, and now that you've got Easy out there that's been added to the mix, and Marshawn Nealons, and you bring back Dante Fowler, Sam Williams is that guy that I almost feel like he's Randy Gregory part 2. He's not smoking the weed or anything like that, but it's a guy that you looked at and that you figured he's got a lot of potential to be incredible. But just like Randy Gregory, he's always having these boneheaded penalties that drive you crazy. So that would be one guy that I would look at and say that, yeah, I don't think there's space for you, or you've got to really perform and come back, big time. I'm going to say this is one that's kind of sad because his dad works for the organization, of course, is Deuce Vaughn. And when you look at Deuce Vaughn, he's got to be at the bottom of the totem pole. He doesn't do anything as good as everybody else. And thus far, when you're looking at his career, I think we've got, the 2 years he's been here, about 120 yards total. And, we're not going to keep all the guys that we have right now. We're just not going to. And I will also put into that mix, too, is somebody who just signed, who has a pedigree of actually performing just a few years ago, of having 1,200 yards. But that may be Miles Sanders. That Miles Sanders, may be on the cutting room floor as well. When you start looking at the running backs that they brought in, with Javonte Williams, he may be the starter, and then Jaden Blue and Mustafa, and Can't forget our fullback in there as well. So you start looking at this and saying, we're not going to keep that many running backs. We're just not. So you look at those guys. Now, here's where I do want to go to 105.3 The Fan, because it's Sean and RJ, because they're actually talking about Tyler Guyton. Now, I might agree with Tyler Guyton if there was another option. But I don't think we have another option at the moment. Let's listen to them. Give their take.
Made up my mind who that is than you would a second rounder.
I would be, yes, in a faster way, but I still need to give somebody more time.
And this is the one we've been building towards. The one that everybody, it feels like, is willing to call a bust right now. And it runs counter to just how long he's been playing. Tyler Guyton, who played 1 year, went viral for stonewalling Micah Parsons during training camp practices. We were out there at training camp, like he was beating Micah. He was locking him up. And then looked completely overwhelmed once the regular season started, looked unprepared, bad technique, had a bunch of unnecessary penalties, a lot of pressure from pass rushers, busted run plays. But the traits appear to be there. The question is whether people believe he can put it all together. But, man, can you think about how fast we flipped from look at him dominate Micah in these training camp practices to now people believe there's no way he'll ever put it together after one season, basically. I'm not ready to give up on Tyler Guyton, but I'm curious if you fall down into
too soon.
I know you're generally not a rash reactor. The fan base, it feels like, has. They were reacting so poorly to Tyler Guyton's performance last year, that I saw people arguing against the Tyler Booker pick, and they were pointing to, well, they don't know how to pick offensive linemen anymore. You can tell because they picked Guyton. Wow. And Guyton's clearly
that's a bust. The Cowboys. Look, they remember. I know it's different, right?
By the way, on the YouTube tax tact, why are you asking if a player's in a second year is a bust already? Because people are freaking saying it. I
can't say that's too.
Jump out of the YouTube tax tact. I don't give it.
It's too soon. It's too soon for me. Remember Stephen Peterman?
Yes, third rounder, 2004.
They got rid of him quick.
Yes,
he goes to Detroit. Has a nice career.
Yeah,
like a really nice career. I can't remember if he was drafted as a guard or a tackle.
Guard.
But I knew he played guard for Detroit. But, like, you got to give these guys some time. Like, second year, that's too early for me to even have.
And it's not like we have a replacement.
After 1 year.
People had that thought about Schoonmaker and Mozzie after 1 year, and now they're really sticking to it in year two. The second year seemed to show the same thing. A lot of people seem to just think if you pop, you're going to pop right away. But I agree.
If we had a young gun that was, like, there, ready to rock and roll, I'd say, yeah, we can do that. But a first-round pick, you can't give up on him just yet. That's just way too soon. But here's what is evident, though. You better come and be prepared to go ahead and perform. That this is not, well, we're them boys, we just got to show up and we're going to be – no. As Brian Schottenheimer put it today it doesn't matter if you're an undrafted guy, where you were drafted or whatever, we're going to put the best players on the field. And I'm hoping that he means that. And with the amount of players that we have right now, that there's going to be real competition in here. And me personally, I like a guy who's not just given a spot. Well, you were, our first-round draft pick, so you're going to play automatically. No, he's got to earn it. You need every one of these guys to be hungry and performing and hopefully doing the best that they can be and giving it their all, or you're going to replace them. So there is definitely a change in how the Cowboys do business and their mentality here going forward. And I hope and pray that this ends up being the start of something really, really incredible for the Cowboys. All righty, good people. You've heard enough from me already today. I'll be back later with my fireside chat, and I'll see you then. Peace.